Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows around world football. This weekend, I'm back from Rome. Chris Hamill is back from Bali, was it? Bali, I nearly said Mali, but it wasn't. We are starting with our talking point on this international break weekend, and it's Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, we can't really start anywhere else, can we? Raheem Sterling putting in a star performance once again, showing that, you know what, Gareth Southgate should probably be building this side around him and Kane. There's a very nice spine to the squad right now, isn't there? Scoring a hat-trick, Raza, against the Czech Republic as England ran out 5-0 victors against the Czech Republic in front of a sell-out crowd at Wembley. And he's now become the first England player to score a hat-trick for club and country in the same month since Alan Shearer in September 1999. So emblematic of the sort of form, the purple patch he's going through right now. And I feel vindicated saying that I'd picked Sterling over Hazard in hot takes about 3 months ago.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty close. Very close.
Well, the majority of, the opposing argument was that Hazard's output is consistently better. Whereas now, goals and assists, Raheem Sterling, no one has contributed more since the start of last season.
But I think if Hazard was playing for City, I do agree with you. I think right now Sterling is better.
If Hazard's playing for City, it's with Sterling because Sterling is Pep Guardiola's go-to man.
Yeah, he is.
Listen, don't get me wrong.
He's incredible.
I think Hazard's probably a more naturally gifted footballer, more aesthetically pleasing footballer. But right now, a 24-year-old Raheem Sterling, I'd rather have him in my side than a 28-year-old Eden Hazard.
So would I. I'm sticking by my statement, by the way, that he's the third best winger in the world. I said it, I think, was it on Sunday Vibes or the week before's Winners and Losers? Messi, Mbappe, Sterling right now.
I'm down for it. I mean, we've opened with a couple of, punchy takes there, so get in the comments below if you disagree. The 24-year-old was only on for 70 minutes, but put in a stellar performance, didn't he? Scored now with 5 of his last 7 shots for England, which beforehand, I think it was 40 plus. He hadn't really contributed decisively, I guess, in the same way that he does for club, for country, but he's turned a corner now, hasn't he, let's say. In fact, he'd only scored with 2 of his first 62 efforts at goal with the 3 Lions. And it's seen a change of mood in the press.
Good.
Which is,
finally,
it's about bloody time, isn't it, that we got behind Raheem. He's probably the best player of a generation, although we've got some pretty filthy ones coming through, haven't we? Yeah. And Jadon Sancho retiring 2 men in 1 move.
Disgraceful.
Absolutely. Someone report him. Get him on Crime Watch. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I've got down here a couple more points, like let's discuss Raheem Sterling in the press, but I think his performances have pretty much said it all. And let's go over to the big man now, who, we might as well get it straight from the horse's mouth.
I said to myself, coming into this campaign, it's about replicating my club form, and I had full confidence in myself and keep working, keep being positive, and I knew that the moment will come, and I just need to carry that on. But it is a special moment, a special day for me and my teammates and my family, really.
Yeah, as good as Sterling was, and he was sensational, England as a side were really good. And like you talked about there, some of the talent that is coming through these England ranks is just
sickening.
Stinky, isn't it? On the weekend as well, 66% possession against the Czechs. They had 8 shots on target. So obviously extremely clinical, slightly fortunate with a couple of the goals. Obviously a massive deflection for Raheem Sterling's hat-trick. But having said that, 8 shots on target, you are going to beat pretty much any team in the world if you do that. It's their biggest win at Wembley since they played San Marino, who obviously the Scots scraped past. We are going to talk about that show later, aren't we? In fact, you're not Scottish. I don't know why I'm digging you out. You are English. You just support a Scottish team.
Yes, I support the English national team.
Whereas Doogie supports both the English and the Scottish national team. So think of that what you will.
Wrap your head around that one.
Wrap your head around that one.
Around his bald head.
But you also mentioned him there, Jadon Sancho. His feet are ridiculous.
Stardust, mate.
Absolutely ridiculous. 4th appearance for his country. On the night, he took 2 shots, 4 key passes, and obviously got that assist for Raheem Sterling's first. He did only complete 1 out of 5 dribbles statistically, but it felt like he completed way more. He has got that magic ability, just where the ball is static and his body feints throw defenders off.
But Gareth Southgate has created an atmosphere where these guys are thriving. Him and Hudson-Odoi, as soon as they're on the ball, they're very direct, aren't they? Extremely brave, extremely positive, and don't seem inhibited by any outside pressures, which has been the case with our star players before. Wayne Rooney is the exception in terms of young players that have delivered recently for England. But these boys look, like they've got the joie de vivre.
Callum Hudson-Odoi also made his debut for England in a competitive match, didn't he? Becoming, I believe, the youngest ever to do so at this level. 18 years and 135 days. When him and Sancho are on the pitch, it's the first time England have had two players that are 18 or younger to feature at the same time in 138 years.
Well then.
That is absolutely frightening. In fact, I reckon Hudson-Odoi might be in line for his first start tonight against Montenegro. Obviously, Jadon Sancho picking up an injury. Dele Alli, I think they kind of pre-agreed he wouldn't play in this one. So he is right in line for a start. It would be frightening, mate, if he starts more games for England than he does for Chelsea.
Yeah, embarrassing. They both could have had a goal as well, couldn't they? Jadon Sancho, the goalkeeper, narrowly kind of tipping that,
and also,
in Dele Alli's direction.
A class block off the line for the Jadon Sancho. Should have had a tap in, shouldn't he? Which I'm pretty sure he'll be devastated.
Might be talking about the same incident. Yeah, and then Callum Hudson-Odoi, smart save down to his left. I suppose it wasn't the greatest of shots. But yeah, imagine if both had scored and then achieved that stat at the same time.
Yeah, crazy. This now means that England are unbeaten in 40 qualifying matches. They've won 31, they've drawn 9, a record that goes back to 2009. It's just a shame we can't do it when it really matters.
No, stage fright.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah, we have literally all been there. Anyway, before we move on, if you are new to the channel and you're enjoying this show, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on.
Whoa,
Seamless.
What a plug. Our first winner is Sergio Ramos, and this comes from Jaram555. What has the Madridista been up to now then?
Yeah, well, he's up to his old tricks, isn't he? Scoring yet again the winner. That's his 16th goal of the season.
What?
Just let that soak in. Sergio Ramos has 16 goals for club and country this season.
Is that more than Bobby Firmino?
It's sickening. It's more than pretty much every player at United, I think, other than maybe Romelu Lukaku. That is obscene. 16 goals for club and country as they beat Norway 2-1. Other goals coming from Rodrigo and Josh King, obviously, in this one. He's 32 now, Sergio Ramos, and he has been scored 107 career goals. What the f*** is going on? Honestly, I know he takes penalties, but that is an obscene number in 842 games.
He's just, his headers. Heading ability is just magnificent as well, isn't it?
He's the 10th top scorer for Spain.
Yeah, I think Hierro's third. They love a prolific centre-back.
I think this goal took him past Pedro in the standings, which isn't too bad, is it? Obviously, his goal capped a pretty deserved victory anyway for the Spaniards. They saw 75% of the ball. They had 26 shots against Norway, 11 on target. Alvaro Morata with a day to forget, I think it's fair to say. Probably
did win the penalty, though.
Did win the penalty, a nailed-on penalty as well, although didn't really have to do much, did he? It was a defensive error.
No,
and then he just took
Hong
one
Kong
touch,
fooed
and
by
then
the
he was
goalkeeper.
literally karate kicked in the face by the keeper. So that was a definite penalty, but some of his misses in this one.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
Come on then. It's a disappointing result for Lars Lagerbäck, I guess, just because they were so close to securing something, and it was only 1-1 for a matter of minutes, wasn't it? Lars Lagerbäck, by the way, has he just managed every country in Scandinavia at this point? He loves it up there, doesn't he? Former Sweden boss, 2000, 2009, I've got down here in my notes. So he's overseen 3 wins in their previous 4 games, the other being a draw. So they're in a good run of form, the Norwegians. There's still plenty of time to recover from this result for what would be their first international tournament, should they qualify, since Euro 2000.
Wow, 20 years ago.
So Q1, that was their only ever Euros performance as well. Luis Enrique, on the other hand, will be absolutely bloody delighted with this one, because Spain were actually in pretty poor form leading up to this game. They'd lost 2 of their previous 3 games, one being 3-2 to England, come on you Lions, and the other being to Croatia, I believe, if memory serves me correctly. Another notable moment in this game was Jaime Mata's debut. Bit of a Jamie Vardy story on our hands here. So he's 30 years old. He's playing for Getafe, who are having a pretty bloody good season. I think unlikely candidates for 4th and 5th. I think they're sort of battling away for European football with Deportivo Alaves. He's got 13 goals in the league this season for Los
This is a David Nugent story.
Azulones.
Forget Jamie Vardy. This is a David Nugent or a Ricky Lambert scenario.
Do you remember David Nugent's only England goal? He stole it off the line from Jermaine Defoe.
Do you remember Ricky
Absolute
Lambert's
crook.
debut, mate? Get it up there, Ricky! Stick your head through that boy.
It was against Scotland. Crying out loud. What a time to be alive watching Ricky Lambert score against Scotland. But like we said, real just reward for his hard work. 4 years ago, Mata was playing in the third tier of Spanish football with Lleida Esporito. Next up for Mata, Ramos and Enrique is Malta away on Tuesday.
Now they got to win that.
I actually went to watch England versus Malta at Wembley, and it was one of the most horrific 90 minutes ever.
C'est la vie, mate.
So, you know,
Now we've got Sancho.
Maybe the Maltese
We've got Sancho, Callum Hudson-Odoi,
can
and
frustrate
Rice.
Spain. So, Malta, a bit of a contentious one, that, isn't it? Because England just won't give it back.
Our first losers of the weekend are Scotland. I bet he is very upset, Hamill. That's such a bad accent. This one was sent in by bwilly_8.
How do you follow that? Yeah, Scotland finding new ways to embarrass themselves during international qualification for the big tournaments. Just had, you know, a decent Nations League, topping the group with giants of the game like Israel and Albania, I think. I mean, this is a long way from James McFadden scoring a banger at the Parc des Princes, isn't it? A 3-0 loss to Kazakhstan. The Scots have never lost a competitive game to a team lower in the FIFA rankings. Kazakhstan currently being 117th, Scotland being 40th. So this is pretty much the nadir of the last 10 years.
This is so embarrassing.
It's just so Scotland. Just when you think they've turned a corner, just when there's a shred, a modicum of positivity, something like this happens. And all of a sudden people want rid of McLeish. They don't know who they want to bring in. We'll probably go back to... Oh, God. Might go back to Walter Smith.
Bring back Moise.
I mean, Moise would be welcome at the moment, I'd imagine. But yes, a couple of individuals in the Scotland squad coming under scrutiny. Ryan Fraser and Callum Patterson criticised as they effectively refuse to play on what, you know, is an artificial pitch fundamentally. And, you know, footballers got to look after their health. I don't know all the details here, so I'm not going to be overly critical.
Not Braveheart, though,
but
are they?
I mean, there's still no William Wallaces in the squad. There's still enough talent there to beat Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan, I mean, they hadn't won a qualifying match since October 2016 and hadn't won one at home since June 2011.
They had a dog up front.
I mean... They spend a lot of money, Kazakhstan. They've spent a lot of money recently on football development, and apparently enough to overtake Scotland, who've got a 100-year pedigree in the game, who took the game to Brazil. And now look, 2-0 down inside the first 10 minutes before conceding an early, you know, third early on in the second half, and not even making sense anymore.
Mate, can I just say though, just to interrupt you?
Go on.
The ball for the Kazakhstan second, in behind the Scotland back line.
Xabi Alonso rolling back the years.
It is Iniesta-like. Fair play to him.
Just ridiculous. Scotland had 60% possession, 10 shots, but ultimately, you know, egg face everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, at least they could redeem themselves though yesterday, because if ever there's a team to bounce back against, it's San Marino, the whipping boys of Europe. And Scotland really put them to the sword. You know, smashed them about the pitch, beat them 2-0. You know. That's actually
just about as well. Third minute and like 70th minute.
That's a good result for San Marino. San Marino fans are buzzing off that.
San Marino have drawn one game, I think, in their previous 40,
Mate, they've won
which
one.
was against Estonia.
They've won one of 155 international matches.
Yeah.
San Marino.
There was a moment where a San Marino forward had rounded the Scotland keeper at 1-0 up, but unfortunately put it into the side netting. Absolute shambles!
Well, can I just say though, Scotland butchered so many chances in that game.
Oh, Johnny Russell.
There was a header.
And the kid from Hibs.
5 yards out. I don't know who it was.
Yeah,
who headed it
the
wide.
guy from Hibs. McLean?
Absolutely shocking.
No,
it now does put Alex McLeish's future firmly in doubt. There is serious doubts as to whether he will be there come sort of June, July.
I just don't get it. I don't get the vision. Malcolm Mackay still, technical
floating about.
Director, still doing something
floating about
there.
With bad smell. I don't know what to do with Scotland, what to say about Scotland. They've got to play Cyprus and Russia. I'm in shock.
I don't think James Forrest started this game either.
Kazakhstan, mate.
Who's been one of Celtic's two most crucial players in this calendar year, and he's in and out of the Scotland squad.
I know, but they've still got the Nations League playoff to fall back on. So it's not all doom and gloom for Scotland.
Aye. As if hearing that breakdown of Scotland wasn't bad enough, we'll move on to Wales. And this is thanks to RP17 1988. Are you ready?
I mean, if you manage to get through this whole episode, then we'll give you a cookie. Because it is honestly dry, I'll be honest. Wales...
What sort of cookie, though?
I don't know.
What are those, like, the ones in the red packets?
Probably just a regular cookie, I'm thinking of.
Double
Nothing
chocolate
special,
chip.
mate.
All right, fair play.
Yeah, anyway, we are talking about Wales beating Slovakia 1-0 in the winners, so hold your horses, don't get too excited, but the winner in this one came from Daniel James. Who the f*** is that guy?
I mean, last time we said this about David Brooks, he
True.
went on to have a stellar season, so maybe Daniel James will bang from now until
He's having a pretty good season, Daniel James, down in the Championship. You're going to talk about him in a bit, but his goal came after just 5 minutes. I think that's the fastest Wales goal in 12 years. And who scored that? It's the current manager, Ryan Giggs, against the whipping boys, San Marino. Yet again, Scotland still only beat them 2-0. But this game...
The fastest Wales goal since one against San Marino is a line I never thought would be mentioned on
But it has got in here somehow. Wales, though, had just 42% possession in this one, but they did manage 14 shots. What I will say is 6 of them came from Gareth Bale. He looked much happier in a Wales shirt than he does in a Real Madrid shirt.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because he's got the captain's armband and the whole country adores him, whereas when he's at Madrid, everybody f***ing hates him.
Yeah, and he can actually, talk to his
Express
teammates.
himself and stuff. But either way, I don't know how Wales got in here. If you want to watch something decent, go and watch Euro Roundup, because at least we're talking about Holland, Germany over there.
Yeah, but then it's pretty bleak after that.
Yeah, it's pretty bleak. So,
no, stick around for both shows, as always, your loyalty never in question. Let's talk more about Daniel James, because I've actually enjoyed scouting the Championship this season. On the podcast, did Che Adams, for Birmingham.
Good scouting.
Oh, good plug that. So, really invested in the Championship. Che Edam. Oh, bloody hell. I'm trying to seem invested, mate. All right? Yeah, Daniel James made his competitive debut, stepping in for the injured Aaron Ramsey. And the 21-year-old's performance will come as no surprise to Swans fans. Is this the really gas guy? The versatile winger has contributed to 6 goals in the Championship while playing across midfield and attack this season, taking 2.4 shots in the box per game.
Fantastic.
And creating 1.3 chances. So, decisive for Potter's men. He's wanted by Bielsa at Leeds, always a good sign, because he likes, purists, doesn't he? Who tried and failed to sign him in January. So worth watching, worth keeping your eyes on this 21-year-old prodigious talent. At the other end of the age spectrum, Ashley Williams, I was going to say Barnes, he plays for Austria. Actually, hasn't got a cap for Austria. He's been denied a passport, actually. 34-year-old Ashley Williams won his 85th cap. He's now just 9 off record holder Chris Gunter, aka the Gunt. A big win for Wales, who would have seen Slovakia as one of the tougher tests in the group, no doubt. Bring back some good memories of their opening victory in Euro 2016 as well. However, next qualifier, we're reaching with the script, aren't we? However, the next qualifier will be a lot tougher. They've got a resurgent Croatia on their hands.
Shout out Giggsy's boys, mate. Giggsy's Barmy Army. The tactical genius.
Do we even carry on? Yeah, probably. Next section.
Our final losers of the day, if you're somehow still with us, are Croatia. This one was sent in by Jacob158. Hamel.
Yeah, I mean, Croatia narrowly beat Azerbaijan in their opening qualifying match, so we thought, why not touch upon them after they lost to Hungary 2-1. A real interesting double-header there. So the Hungarians are actually 48 places below the Croats in the World Cup rankings. Of course, last year's finalists, and are only looking to qualify for their second major tournament since 1986. So Puskas and Koksik must have been, smiling down from the football heavens as mate Pat Kay scored the winner in the 76th minute for his country. That was his first goal as well. A very odd game from a statistical point of view, though, Joseph. So Croatia had the lion's share of possession with 64%. Both teams had the same amount of shots, but Croatia only put 2 on target to Hungary's 8.
Wow.
Now, despite this plethora of efforts that Hungary carved out, they only put an expected goals together of 1.2 to Croatia's 1.6. So what this tells me is that Croatia missed a couple of absolute humdingers, and Hungary were being speculative, being ambitious. So maybe fortunate to run out here victors. Just, you know, typical international shenanigans.
Let's try and bring the energy up a little bit then for the last minute
Come
or
on.
so of this one, because if you're still with us, congratulations. There are question marks being asked about Croatia's golden generation though, because they are rapidly aging out. 7 of the 11 starters on the pitch played in the World Cup final. Only 2 are under 29 of the starting 11.
Okay, so a bit of a...
I mean, an old cast being ensembled here. Ante Rebic, who obviously opened the scoring on the day, is one of the few Croats who played at the World Cup who are having a decent season, to be totally honest. He's playing for Frankfurt, obviously, behind the incredible Luka Jovic at the moment. He's got 8 goals, 3 assists in 16 appearances for Frankfurt, so he's having a good season. But a lot of the other players really struggling. I mean, the best player in the world, Luka Modric, let's not forget, who definitely deserved it over Messi, you know, the 5th best player in the world. He's not having a particularly great season, is he? He's obviously 33 now, having a pretty tough campaign for Real Madrid and for Croatia, really. Not involved in any of his country's goals this break. Personally, I think he should probably be considering international retirement. I know he wants to make the Euros. I think he'll definitely go after the Euros. But he probably, in my opinion, should have gone after the World Cup. Go out on a high, because he's going to go out on a low now when they either crash out or don't make it to the Euros.
But if you've just highlighted that dearth of talent that's coming through, then I suppose he's kind of doing his country a favour, isn't he? Like, who are they turning to if not Modric?
Yeah, that's a good point. But, I mean, for selfish reasons, Modric.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to retain his legacy, is he? But, yeah.
Call it probably, because, you know, the whole generation thing, golden generation, is just... If you're still with us, well done, because this is dismal. So that's the end of this week's winners and losers, but Euro Roundup does have some gold in it. Seriously, much better than this probably, because it's featuring the likes of who, Hamill?
Germany, Holland, and then it gets a little bit muddier. I won't mention the teams, it might put you off, but yeah, come on over in an hour's time to EFD.
Yes, thank you very much for watching. Au revoir.